Question 886. In an exclusive listing, a broker is required to A. Do a credit check on the buyer. B. Include a definite termination date. C. Calculate the property taxes for next year. D. All of the above. Correct answer is B. Include a definite termination date. While a broker will often advise on a buyer's financial qualifications, performing a credit check on the buyer is not a required duty or element of the listing agreement itself. It's part of the due diligence once an offer is received, often handled by lenders. Providing information about property taxes is a helpful service, but it is not a legally required action for a broker as part of an exclusive listing agreement. Tax calculations are complex and often fall to tax professionals. An exclusive listing agreement is a contract between a property owner and a real estate broker. It grants the broker the exclusive right to represent the property and receive a commission if the property is sold during the listing period. Real estate law mandates that such contracts must have a specific, definite date on which they will expire. This prevents indefinite contractual obligations, protecting the property owner's rights and preventing potential disputes. Question 887. Which of the following is an example of constructive eviction? A. The landlord failed to make needed repairs on the property's plumbing, so that there is no running water available. B. The landlord placed an advertisement to rent the leased property to someone else. C. The landlord started a 6-month construction project on the building's exterior so noisy that the tenant can no longer conduct his business. He's a sound engineer on the premises. D. Both A and C. Correct answer is D. Both A and C. Constructive eviction happens when a landlord's actions or inactions make a property uninhabitable or unusable. For a claim of constructive eviction to be valid, the tenant must usually actually vacate the premises. A landlord advertising to re-rent a property doesn't constitute constructive eviction. While this might indicate a breach of the lease or a landlord's intent to evict, it does not, in itself, make the property uninhabitable or force the tenant to vacate. The tenant still retains possession. Therefore, this is not constructive eviction. Lack of running water renders a property uninhabitable and is a clear breach of the implied warranty of habitability. If the tenant is forced to leave due to this condition, it is a strong example of constructive eviction. The excessive noise from the construction project renders the property unsuitable for the tenant's intended use, making it difficult or impossible for the sound engineer to work. This describes a significant and prolonged interference with the tenant's quiet enjoyment and beneficial use of the property, especially given the nature of the tenant's business. If the noise level genuinely prevents the tenant from using the premises for its intended purpose and forces them to leave, this constitutes constructive eviction. Question 888. Consideration, as one of the essential elements of a binding contract, can take the form of the following, except A. Cash. B. A promise not to open a competing business. C. Pool cleaning. D. Love and affection. Correct answer is D. Love and affection. Consideration is a crucial element of a binding contract, representing the bargain for exchange of something of legal value between the parties. Consideration is something of value exchanged between the parties to a contract. It can be tangible, like money or property, or intangible, like a promise or service. However, love and affection, while valuable in personal relationships, are not sufficient to form a legally enforceable contract. Question 889. Literal rights and riparian rights differ in what respect? A. Literal rights are associated with oceans. Riparian rights with rivers. B. Literal rights depend on easements to lakes and streams. Riparian rights do not. C. Literal rights run with the land. Literal rights with water. D. Literal rights have less force than riparian rights. Correct answer is A. Literal rights are associated with oceans. Riparian rights with rivers. The distinction between literal rights and riparian rights is based on the type of water body a property borders. The distinction between literal rights and riparian rights is based on the type of water body a property borders. Riparian rights pertain to properties that border flowing bodies of water, such as rivers, streams, or creeks. Literal rights pertain to properties that border non-flowing bodies of water, such as lakes, oceans, or seas. Both riparian and literal rights are typically appurtenant to the land, meaning they run with the land ownership, and do not depend on separate easements. Both types of water rights, literal and riparian, generally run with the land, meaning they transfer to a new owner when the property is sold. The extent of literal and riparian rights, including aspects like land ownership beneath the water or public access, isn't universally fixed. Instead, their force varies significantly by state laws and whether the adjacent water body is navigable. However, neither generally has inherently less force than the other in a universal sense. Question 890. The subdivision final report of the Real Estate Commissioner expires. A. 5 years from the report's issuance. B. 7 years from the report's issuance. C. 10 years from the report's issuance, unless a material error is found in the report. D. The report never expires. Correct answer is A. 5 years from the report's issuance. The preliminary report is valid for 1 year, but expires sooner if the final report is issued before that time. A subdivision final report is a document issued by the California Department of Real Estate, DRE, that certifies that a subdivision project complies with all applicable laws and regulations. This is a crucial document for buyers of subdivided lands. This report is valid for a period of 5 years from the date of issuance. While the report can become void sooner if there are material changes to the subdivision, or can be renewed, its standard validity period is set at 5 years by California law. Question 891. The substitution of one party in place of another is termed A. Subrogation. B. Substitution. C. Party replacement. D. Reliction. Correct answer is A. Subrogation. Party replacement is a descriptive phrase, not a recognized legal term. Reliction is a term in property law referring to the gradual recession of water, which exposes new land. It has no relation to parties in a contract. While substitution is a general term, subrogation is the specific legal concept for replacing one party with another. This is particularly relevant in areas like insurance or creditor-debtor relationships, where one entity assumes the rights of another. Subrogation specifically refers to the substitution of one party in place of another, particularly concerning rights or claims. The substituted party, like an insurer, acquires the legal rights and remedies of the original party, the insured or claimant, to pursue a third party. For example, if a homeowner's insurance company pays a claim for damage caused by a neighbor's negligence, the insurance company may then sue the neighbor to recover the funds it paid out. Question 892. For a lender, a major selling point for making purchase money mortgage loans is that such loans take priority over A. Federal tax liens. B. Seller's liens. C. Liens against the purchaser in effect at the time of purchase. D. None of the above. Correct answer is C. Liens against the purchaser in effect at the time of purchase. A major selling point for lenders making purchase money mortgage loans is their advantageous lien priority. A purchase money mortgage, PMM, is a mortgage given to the seller or a third-party lender by the buyer as part of the purchase price of real estate. Its defining characteristic is that it enables the buyer to acquire the property. Due to its nature, a purchase money mortgage typically takes super priority over certain other liens. This means it will generally have a higher priority than liens against the purchaser in effect at the time of purchase. This is the key advantage. A purchase money mortgage typically takes priority over pre-existing liens against the buyer, such as judgment or general state tax liens. This means the mortgage used to acquire the property will usually be paid first, even over other debts the buyer already had. Question 893. A kind of financial institution whose members usually share the same occupation is A savings bank, B, credit union, C, commercial bank, D, insurance company. Correct answer is B, credit union. The financial institution described, where members typically share the same occupation, is a credit union. Credit unions are cooperative financial institutions owned by their members. They are often formed around a common bond, which can be a shared employer, industry, geographic location, or other affiliation. This allows them to offer financial services tailored to their specific membership base. Credit unions often offer a variety of financial services, including savings accounts, checking accounts, loans, and investment products. Question 894. Presented with two differing pest control reports for a property in escrow, the escrow officer should A. Submit the report to the parties that shows the least amount of damage, B. Submit the report to the parties that shows the greatest amount of damage, C. Submit both reports to the parties for them to decide which one to use, D. Submit the reports to the broker and ask her which report to submit to the parties. Correct answer is C. Submit both reports to the parties for them to decide which one to use. An escrow officer serves as a neutral third party in real estate dealings. Their role is to strictly follow buyer and seller instructions and ensure all contract conditions are satisfied. Their role is not to interpret or make decisions about conflicting information. When presented with two differing pest control reports, the escrow officer's duty is to ensure full disclosure to the principals involved. Therefore, the escrow officer should submit both reports to the parties for them to decide which one to use. This approach maintains the escrow officer's neutrality and ensures all parties have complete information. It allows the buyer and seller, with their agents, to address any discrepancies and negotiate solutions based on their purchase agreement. Question 895. The real estate law designates a duty upon a real estate agent to his principle of undivided interest and loyalty. This relationship can be compared to the one between a renter to his landlord, B. Trustee to his beneficiary, C. Teacher to her student, D. None of the above. Correct answer is B. Trustee to his beneficiary. Renter to his landlord B is a contractual relationship based on a lease, not typically a fiduciary one. While a teacher has a professional duty to guide and educate students, it's not considered a legal fiduciary relationship in the same vein as an agent-principal or trustee-beneficiary. The real estate law's designation of a real estate agent's duty to their principal as one of undivided interest and loyalty is a description of a fiduciary relationship. In a fiduciary relationship, one party, the fiduciary, is obligated to act in the best interests of another party, the principal, placing the principal's needs above their own. A trustee is legally obligated to manage the assets of a beneficiary with the utmost care and loyalty.